My name is Stella. I've been working in Chinatown for 6 years now. I don't live here. I just personally don't want to afford to live in the city. I'm Chinese Canadian. I was born in China and then they came down here when I was 1. So I'm very like westernized, not very Chinese. Chinatown has so much energy. Like there is always people around and I like being able to see like my culture because I came from Hong Kong and there's like a lot of like Hong Kong energy here. There's like a lot of Hong Kong culture. So it is really like nice to kind of have a little bit of my roots being shown here. I think it's really sad that they keep changing these buildings. With Chinese culture, there's a lot of like elements of Chinese history, like the lions. They're symbolizing places that used to be old palaces, and there's a lot of construction that used to be from old China. But now, because of the new buildings and the new condos and perhaps the new like people buying real estate here, they want to make it more into like a Western culture. They make it black of all colors in the middle of like a city that is based in the middle of a town that is red and orange and yellow. So, and they make one big black building. It stands out and it's kind of an eyesore. It kind of takes you out of I would say like the fantasy of being in Chinatown. Because you go in, you see like the giant red, and they take that out. And I know there's a lot of, it kind of pushes perhaps like the Chinese culture away.
I'm Rafael. I'm an international student right now with the York University. I'm originally from the Philippines, and so I've been living here for about a year now. So I've been working in Chinatown for about 6, 7 months now. I really like Chinatown just because it has a lot more personality, a lot more soul. It's operating on its own wavelength almost, distinct from the rest of the city, and that's why I really do enjoy working there. I also enjoy just kind of going there on my own. It's plenty obvious that I'm Asian, and when I went to Canada it was a bit hard to kind of assimilate myself to this Western culture. The Philippines itself is very westernized in many different aspects, but there's still a lot of core Asian sensibilities that I found were missing in the average Canadian circles. But when I went to Chinatown, it felt a lot more at home with how things operate, the rhythm of how people move there. They do the food right. And just that kind of sense of neighborhood, of community. You see it in Canada in other ways, but to see it in a very Asian, in a very kind of very culturally specific way in Chinatown was a nice kind of place to discover. With a lot of the pandemic kind of shaking things up and people kind of looking for new ways to start, I've seen a lot of different investments pour in to kind of change the landscape almost. A lot of historical buildings have been chosen for revamping or renovation, whatever you want to call it, but a lot of that originality is starting to go away. It's top level. It does make you sad about a lot of things, but there's a lot of aspects to it. When you really try to study the different dimensions that come with gentrification, that comes with new development. On the other hand, this is allowing, I guess, more people to discover areas of the city that they might not have found welcoming to them. I'm never against multi-level housing. My issue is that on the flip side, that these multi-level housings end up pricing out the locals because a lot of these areas, these renovations are geared towards high wealth individuals who made their money not within that community. So suddenly you're going to have an influx of money coming in, influencing how things are starting to be priced. And the people who've been living there for years suddenly might not be able to keep up with the changes.